Well, I was recording my last video, but I guess I didn't push play. Nah, just kidding. Like my phone was making contact with my skin and it like paused it or something. But here we go. We got to start all over. But what I did in my last video, I was cutting the windshield out, and now I got to cut the bottom. Now, I was just pretty much just saying that my last video that I made, it was my son. He bought 6-inch stretch tabs for his mini bike, and we were up last night welding them up. He was excited, and he bought a welder, a gasless welder from Harbor Freight. He wanted to learn how to weld, and he bought himself a welder, a mask, and gloves, and just a bunch of other little things that he needs, you know, just to get the ball rolling. You know, eventually, once he gets good at like welding and gets a lot of practice in, you know, he wants to get a gas welder. But let me cut this out. I know it's going to be kind of loud, so. I know that thing sounds like it's chopping up the whole car, but it's not. It's just making short strokes and cutting out the glue in the bottom. I know I've had a few customers that are like, oh, what is that? But I just explained it to them. There we go. She's all out. Yeah, I stopped making videos about 4 months ago, but I gotta get back on it. I remember before, me and my wife, we used to, back in the early 2000s, we used to go to car shows, and she used to vlog everything. But back then it was those big camcorders, and everywhere she went, she would take it, and then we would record everything. This is like before YouTube, and we used to do it all the time. So I was like, man, you know what? We got to get back on it. So I'm gonna start posting every now and then, just videos of just a normal day-to-day, whatever comes to mind. These things, I'm used to it, but they're not too heavy, but they're just kind of awkward weight. So you have to build that muscle memory. I can't even talk. All right. Yeah, tap in the comments. Let me know where you're from. What city, what state. Or if you know anything about glass. like using these tools right here because this one here, it cuts right where you need it, you know, and it doesn't, you don't scratch anything. I mean, every now and then you get a little scuff, but that's what we have primer for. And we do that so the car don't rust. There's some people that are like, oh, this guy will charge me $100. Sometimes you gotta think, why is it so cheap? Like, what is he using? What kind of material? Like, you gotta take in consideration. A windshield's a major structural part of your car, and if you're driving in it, and then you have your family, you have kids in there, you know, you're putting people's life at risk because you don't want to spend, you know, a few extra bucks and some guy that wants to charge you $100. I'm not saying they do a bad job, but what kind of materials are they using? You know, like, think about that kind of stuff. What kind of materials are they using, and why is it so cheap versus this company that charges X amount? So I suggest you take that into consideration. You know, like the place I work for, they use top line, like the best stuff on the market pretty much. You know, and I take pride in my work. You know, I don't just come here just because. I mean, obviously we have to work, you know. But hi, how are you? How can I help you? You here for an appointment? Yeah. All right, I'll be right with you, okay? I'll be right up. There we go. We got another customer. What was I saying? I got sidetracked. I was saying, you know, I don't just come here just because. I mean, you gotta like your job, you know, you gotta like what you do for a living. That's what makes it fun. You know, if you're miserable at work, it's gonna make your day go by so slow. Well, I had to stop my other video. I didn't want to put the customers in there. Yeah, so like I was saying, when you do your job, you know, if you're miserable at your job, then you're doing the wrong thing. I mean, I'd rather be doing something else, but I'm thankful that I have a job. And plus, this place is good, you know, they're good to me. I've been here, I think it's like 3 years. I used to work for another company for about 16. Also, I used to work at a body shop, so I also do paint and body work. And, you know, that's what I grew up on. You know, my older brother, he paints cars, and since I was little, you know, I would watch him, and I remember I used to go with my sister-in-law to go pick him up from work. He used to work at a company where they used to go to dealers, and they used to freshen up the cars and refinish bumpers and stuff. So, like, he was doing that for a long time, and he still does. He paints cars and whatnot. I used to do stuff on the side before, but it's kind of hard, man. Sometimes people don't want to pay, you know, and to paint and do body work, it's not like it's just kind of like a quick job. It's a process, you know, and it takes time to do work, and, you know, if you're gonna do a repair on something, you know, you do the repair, you primer, you gotta let it sit, you know, let it cure up, and then you gotta sand it, make sure it's right, you know, and if it's not, then you go in there and make some tweaks, and then you gotta prime it again, block sand it, get it ready for paint it, let that dry, and then you gotta buff it. I mean, it's a lot of work, you know, so I kind of moved away from doing that because nobody wants to pay. They figure, you know, you do it on the side, you know, why do you want to charge X amount of dollars? At that point, you're paying for experience, and you're paying for a job that would cost you thousands. But, you know, who knows, maybe later I will. We'll see. Kind of just want to work on my own stuff. And just work on things with my kids. But, yeah, tap in the comments. Let me know what you do for a living and how long you've been doing it. So right now, I'm gonna clean the window real quick. I always like to scuff it. So I just give it a quick little clean. Excuse the mess. Alright, so I get a little scuff pad. And what I always like to do is I like to put glass cleaner right here on the edge. And then what I do is I scuff it. So this glass is, what brand is this? I mean, it's a good brand. So put it this way. You know what, let me get some gloves real quick. Put it this way. So this glass was made, people have handled it. You know, you never know. You know, there's grease on our fingers, there's, you know, all sorts of stuff. And people who handle it, you know, will contaminate it. So if it's contaminated and you just put glass cleaner and clean it up and let's go, you could leave some stuff behind and then your windshield won't stick. So what I like to do to make sure that doesn't happen, I like to scuff it. It's kind of like paint, you know, like when you paint, you gotta scuff it, sand it, so the paint has something to stick to. So right there, I scuffed it. The cool thing is that you could tell you scuffed it too. Like that black frit, it looks like a lot different once you clean it. Wipe all that stuff off. See, look at all this black stuff. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see little scuff marks. That way when the glue touches it, it really bites down to it. I know it's a lot of extra steps, but like I said before, you gotta like doing what you do. And if somebody brings a car to me to work on, I'm gonna make sure I do it the right way and how it's supposed to be done. You know I would want that if I took my car to to a place and I was trusting them to do their job correctly. I try to keep it as even as possible. I know it's going a little crazy, but I don't try to overlap it. All right, now I just got to cut those edges. Like that. Otherwise they'll stick out on the corners. We don't want that. When you go to set the windshield, then we'll have two little ears on there. There's this little strip right here. We take that out. So this is the driver's sign. All right. Now we have this tool. I purchased this when I used to work at my other company. This one's real old. This is like the first one that came out. And this is before they would give you tools. They would give all the technicians, they would give them tools. But this one here was like, I think, if I remember correctly, it was like 1,000 something. And nobody wanted to buy it because at first they were offering it to buy. Hold on one second. Okay. And I think I paid like $1,500 or somewhere around there. I don't know. It was 1,000 something. And nobody wanted it because they were used to setting the windshield. But this is pretty much like having an extra person. You put it on here, and you put it on the windshield. So anyways, like I was saying, I purchased this, and then after I purchased it a few months later, they started giving it to all the technicians. You know, the company would pay for it. But when you would leave, you would have to give it back, obviously. So I was able to keep mine because I purchased it with my own money. All my tools I purchased. I promise next time I do a video, I'll have my van clean. I'll clean up in there. All right, let's shoot the glue. And like I said, we use good glue, so I know with cars that come in here for replacements, when we do calibrations, we got to drive them right away. So this one, it sets up quick. Yes. Mire, aquí está atrás, mire, venga. Sí, sí, no, es que no nos dejan tener baños enfrente, entonces los tenemos que venir los pusieron aquí atrás, y ya está, nomás de la vuelta atrás de su troca. Ya estamos listos ya para poner el parabrisas y ya mero, ahorita todo va bien, su troca estaba bien limpiecita. Sí, de nada. Okay. So this stuff sets up quick. Because we have to drive them. So once we do the calibration, we have to set it up and go drive the car, especially on the Hondas and Subarus. All right. All right. Ya mero. All right. What I like to do is once I shoot the glue and wherever I stop, I go over it again, just that way there's no seams and there's no water that could come in. All right, make sure these cups are on there good, otherwise that windshield will fall off and then we'll be in trouble here. I know it'll probably be hard to see, but here we go. It's a big windshield. Yeah, but this tool makes it real easy to set a windshield, and it's like having an extra hand. I set all my windshields with this, you know, and it's kind of how they do it in the factory, you know. It's like they set it down. I don't gotta move it nowhere. It's like where I put it is where it's gonna be. Just right here, I just kind of give it a little push. That's it. All right, and then here, pull it up a little bit. I like to cup my hand. Because if I do it with an open hand, it's like slapping the windshield and you could crack it. We don't want to do that. Let's see here. It looks like some animal or something got in there. like I said, if you do glass, comment down below how long you've been doing it for. And it's like every place. So there's always people that are gonna be better than you and the whole nine, but that's all nonsense, man. Like I said, just mind your business, do your work, do it to the best of your ability. Go home and leave work at work, and that's it. I don't compete with anybody. I just do my best job that I can do. And I just take care of my customers. That's all. That's all I try to do, you know. I'm not out here competing. Who could do it better? At that point, you know, if you feel like you're better than somebody else or whatever, good, you know. Just do a good job and that's it. I don't know. One of the things is the hardest to do is probably cleaning the windshield. You always leave like a little smudge. All right. Can't tell if that's inside or outside. Oh. These stickers, it's like so many. I don't know why they do that. It's annoying. If you're the guy that works there and you put these stickers on, just put one. Help a brother out. In the winter, they suck. Because they glue's like frozen solid. Start putting the interior together. Get out of here. Get this guy out of here. I always save all the stickers, or I ask the customer what they need off of there. Some customers don't want anything. They want a clean windshield with nothing on it. And then you have some that want everything.